Welcome to What in the Actual Mental Health. And literally, that is the question of the hour. Because I don't know what the fuck. So, we're going to play a video. We're going to try. And I can't hear it, so hopefully everyone else can.
Nice. Okay.
I don't have my earphones thingies on. Okay? So, we're just going to roll with it. So,
here we go.
Shush it.
I'm feeling like this isn't.
You want me to read it? Would that be better? Would that make it feel better?
Well, the thing is it didn't start in the beginning.
Okay, everybody, let's try this another way.
Because watch.
You don't watch.
No, I am going to watch so that you can see what the fuck I'm talking about.
No, I did see it, actually.
It didn't start in the beginning.
Oh. Yeah, it did. She, pointed at him. This is literally what in the actual mental health, because nobody knows what we're doing at this.
But she points at it multiple times.
Again, this is coming from a nurse. I'm an RN and I work in the psych field. The phrase is, I'm tired. If someone that is struggling mentally says the phrase, I'm tired, take them seriously. They're not just saying that. They're probably telling you, I'm tired of being alone. I'm tired of not being enough. I'm tired of not being whatever it is, physically what someone wants. I'm tired of not being enough. I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. It doesn't mean physically tired. It means their mind is exhausted and they just want to break. And if you don't dig a little deeper, that person is going to go home all by themselves with the thoughts that made them mentally tired. And all it takes is one time just to not dig a little deeper. You know where I'm going with that. So if you care about someone and you hear them say the phrase, I'm tired, dig a little deeper. Because that time that you spend with them is time that you'll regret for the rest of your life. So if you have that chance and you have that friend that is tired, do something about it. Dig a little deeper. Be there with them. Make sure that they know that they're loved and it's going to be okay. I promise.
Right, see?
Okay, well, we'll do it your way. I mean, it wasn't the best, but I guess we'll do it.
Okay. You're right. It wasn't the best.
No, but it works. It works. I'm just fucking with you.
Mine
was worse, so...
we don't even know what yours looked like or sounded like. We'll find out.
Yeah, it'll be this weird, and then we're just talking, and then, yeah. That's what you should expect at this point.
Correct.
I mean, anything less.
Literally anything flies here,
yeah,
so...
Literally. So, okay. This is what's interesting, though, too. As I had just heard this study that they did this, I'm just listening to the radio this morning, and they were talking about how they did this study, and 67% of women were surveyed that they basically feel exhausted because they're having to take care of their husbands like a child, the same way they take care of their children. And
oh my God.
Yeah. And it's funny because
I can't even tell you that resonates so deep in my life up until the last 3 years.
Yeah. And that's what I think there's two pieces of this that have to be talked about, is that I don't feel that way with my husband now. Do I think, and here's what's also kind of interesting, is that a few weeks ago we were getting new eyeglasses for our son. And my husband is there, but he's sitting, way back behind us, and I'm with Osiris, and he's getting his glasses, and the woman working is who's the policy under, what's the social, all the things, right? And I'm like, it's under my husband, here's this information. And very sassily, she looks at me and she's like, do you have to do everything? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And it's funny because my first reaction was just all right, whatever. And then I think about it, and it's not, because I don't feel like that study resonates with me with my husband. I can think of other relationships 100% where I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck that was. With my husband, it isn't necessarily that way, but there is a big part of me that I'm like, there are certain things he's very good at, and there are certain things I am very good at. And if it becomes really just a factor of what needs to get done and which one of us can do it better, then it doesn't have to be, I'm doing everything or whatever. It's just, this is going to be easier, lady, if you let me fucking do it and give you the information and you get us the fucking eyeglasses and eat an ass. Just be done. Be done. And so when I heard that study and he was with me, he's like, that's dumb. He's like, how many women, da, 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 da. And I'm like, I hear you. And I'm like, but it's not like that in our relationship. There are probably times where, I maybe do like some things extra. But again, it becomes like, what are you good at? What am I good at? And so part of the thing is like, yes, I think there is a big part of that is probably very true for a lot of women. And I also think, though, and I ask this of a lot of women, it's like, too, where are you taking on so many things because you think you're the only one that knows how to do them? Or if somebody was to help you, it wouldn't be the way you would do it. So you don't even want people to help you, which I have been guilty of. And then you burn yourself out. Or I'll hear women say, oh, the kids are with their dad today. Like, I hope he remembers to feed them. And it's like, that's kind of a dick move. Like you had sex with that person and made a baby. At some point, you kind of have to trust them. Or you move on and you say, you can't be the only person who can help take care of these kids, right? So it's like a twofold thing. I think there are some men who are definitely like that. But as women, I also think we have to take some responsibility that sometimes we overtake things because we assume no one can do it better than we can, or it's just easier if I do it, which is sometimes true. Will she disagree with me, everyone? Dun, dun, dun.
Partially, but I'm going to piggyback off of that and say, like, I think you baby Angelo, but I think he babies you.
Yeah.
And if he didn't baby you,
then
you would be tired.
Yeah.
You would be burnt.
Yeah.
You would be like, fucking hell. But yes, you like, and I'm the same way, like, I baby Mike. I'm like, fucking setting alarms. Like, did you run payroll? Did you do this?
Yeah.
Did you do that? Lots of reminders. Did you forget to do this? How many times did you do that? Let me make your appointment. Let me do this. But he also bends over fucking backwards for me.
Right.
So I think that
it's very
people,
different.
yes,
Yeah.
the people that are tired.
And Angela's my only marriage, right? Like, I've not had children with anyone else. I've not married to anyone else. So it is different.
Yeah. Yes. You just add in the blended family thing, and that's even like,
yeah, that's a whole different.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's hard. So, like, I'm tired. Mike's tired. We're all tired. Everybody's old and fucking tired. But
You're
I
older
think
than
it
me.
is
So fucking old as balls.
by at least a couple decades.
1,000 decades in your soul.
But I do think that it is more difficult to get that, like, deep tired when someone is also taking care of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, I didn't, in my previous relationships, I wasn't taken care of even sort of the way that I'm taken care of now.
Yeah.
Like, Mike and I were talking about this like a little while ago about procedures that I've had, like every surgery, any kind of like dental procedure. Like, I don't tolerate anesthesia well. It always makes me cry. I don't tolerate pain meds well. Opiates make me cry and they make me itchy. Like, that's just what happens. Like, I don't tolerate medication very well.
We would both be really bad drug addicts, is what I'm
100%.
learning.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't like to swallow pills.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's just like, we'll just start there.
Oh, yeah, I did watch you do that one time, and it was like,
Yeah, you were like, what's happening?
It was like watching a baby bird for the first time be fed, and I was like, wow, that is hard to watch. I'm like, you're going to die.
Yes. And every night Mike is like, let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
So we can continue our conversation.
It's going to take 10
Or like
years.
he'll be doing something and he looks up and he's like,
oh, this is going to be a while.
and then he's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go poop.
right.
Because it's the same amount of time. Yeah.
But I was telling Mike, like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Like, when I had my gallbladder surgery, that was a fucking disaster. I've had multiple, like, my teeth are fucked up. I've had multiple dental procedures and surgeries. Like at one point I had like all 4 of my wisdom teeth and a root canal done like at the same time. They had to fucking put me under. Like, it was, yeah. So I've had like enough things, right? And
I mean, I say gross, especially because it has anything to do with dental.
No,
and
bad.
we both know how I feel about that.
Same. Yeah, they had to sedate me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have to be unconscious.
So, when I had my very first, like one of my very first dental procedures, my boyfriend at the time, like, made fun of me and like yelled at me over the phone and
that's
like
nice.
refused to come, like,
He should
see
work
me.
for Hallmark.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
And then a different boyfriend, I broke my ankle and I broke my foot or something, and I was on pain pills and I was very like kind of like out of it, moving slow, whatever. And he had to like help take care of me, and he took care of me for like a day and a half. And then he literally dropped me off at my parents' house and was like, let me know when you can walk again.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Dick.
Yep. My ex-husband, when I had my gallbladder removed, he was supposed to get my pain meds and he didn't get them in time. Like he didn't get them. They were like, okay, we're giving her back to you. Let me go from surgery, giving her back to you, drop her off, go get the pain meds so that she can have them on board when she wakes up. She'll wake up in an hour or two. And when I woke up, he was not in the house. He was not there at all.
Oh, wow.
I called him and he was running errands and had not gotten my pain meds yet. Damn. And then yelled at me and hung up on me when I was like, you're supposed to get my meds. Like I'm in fucking pain.
You should also work for Hallmark.
And he was like, I can't fucking handle this right now, Catherine, and hung up on me. Oof. And I've had multiple experiences like that through my entire life. So the idea of being taken care of by like another man, like when I had Lila, my second, and it was like during COVID, like the second round, they were like, you get one person in and that's it. No one else gets to come in. You don't get to go out until you are discharged from the hospital. And I had a C-section, so I knew I was going to have to stay overnight. Huh. And I asked my mom if she would go instead. Yeah. And Adolfo was like, absolutely not. Like, he's like, nope, I got to be, obviously he's like, I'm the dad. I want to be there. But I was like, given the history of the way that he was taking care of me.
Right. You're like, could I get anyone else?
I was like, I want my mom to go.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't take her because I also get he wanted to be there for the birth of his child. But, and then sure enough, didn't take care of me.
You're like, you got the first one. So we're just going to call it even. And then you also suck at this caretaking.
It was really
so you don't
rough.
Get two. Dick.
And my husband, I had a procedure done. I had my teeth, something done with my teeth. We were together for like 4 months. And he, pulled the bandages out for me, like wiped like blood, like all, like everything, like took care of me, like sat me down on the toilet, like helped me pull my pants down, like closed the door, let me pee, like everything. Like, and I had another surgery, like a year and change ago. And, I couldn't wash my hair. Like I couldn't lift my arms up, and he washed my hair for a month. Oh, brushed my hair, washed my hair.
Oh, like those little monkeys, and like they're like taking care of each other.
Well, and he's 800 feet tall, so he was like,
yeah, so he's just like
super easy. Yeah, but he like literally did everything for me.
Yeah,
and never even bat an eye. Like never thought anything different. It was just like, it's fine. And I was like,
like, what is this?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's very different because in all of those other relationships, I was taking care of someone else and myself. And then fuck me when we had kids.
Yeah.
I was bone tired. Like I've never been that kind of tired. And it was obviously like the hormones and the kids and the not sleeping, but also like I didn't feel like I didn't have a partner.
Yeah.
And I was very, like I was with my second one, I did struggle with postpartum, like quietly, and not as severe as some women have, but it's a huge difference when someone is taking care of you.
Right.
And like allows you to be tired, but also allows you to rest. Like,
because the tired I am right now is exhausted, but it would be impossible to function if it wasn't for the fact that my husband is supportive. And that's why, like, when I was listening to the statistic, I'm like, yeah, I can understand where there are a lot of women who would feel that way. I don't. I'm not one of those. You know, I don't. In fact, he fills my cup all the time. Like when I'm tired and I'm around him, I feel instantly better. Like I never leave my time. In fact, my time with him, I'm like, when can it come back? Right. You know, like when does he get home? When do I get home? Like all the things. But I can definitely, you know, and it's like we've talked about this, I think, where I watched that movie Night Bitch, and she's like that, where she's just like, and you can see it on her, you know, she's like exhausted, and but also part of it is, and I think she recognizes it in the movie, is she's not communicating with him. These are the things that I need from you. Mm-hmm. She's allowing him to do the things and not saying, already fuck enough. And I think that's part of it too. And, you know, part of like what we shared with with the Instagram thing is checking on people, right? Also, though, there has to be some personal accountability where you're also able to say, even if it's not to your spouse, but to someone, yeah, I'm fucking tired and no one is supporting me. And I understand that doesn't always happen. It can't always happen. And sometimes you don't even realize how far you're gone until it's too late. Mm-hmm. So I'm not blaming or shaming anybody. I understand that happens. Also, though, for those who can, where do you start to say, I can't fucking do this anymore? Because even like when, you know, I always tell people, like, I knew for sure when I was going to marry my husband, I still had my stoma. I still had Steve the stoma. And I never, ever, I never let anyone see the bag because it has poop in it. And that's weird. That's a very, like, especially for women, that's like such a taboo thing that we poop, but we do. And shocker. And like, we have buttholes.
Yeah.
It's weird.
According to my girls, I don't fart. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, mommy doesn't fart. My husband's like, okay.
Yeah. He's like, sure. Wait till she goes to sleep. Yeah. And so I never, I was very, even when we were intimate, like I was very private with my bag. Like I would just like, I had a cover, I had a whole thing. And one day we had gone somewhere and we had eaten carne asada, and we got home and I was emptying my bag and I couldn't tell if what was in the bag was carne asada or if it was blood. And I was terrified, because I had read horror stories and they tell you, like this can happen and then your body can be rejecting the stoma. There's always all these things, right? And I was dreading. I was like in the bathroom, like just like panicking, like the absolute most panic. Yeah. And I'm like, what do I fucking do? And I walk out and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what this is. And he's like, let me see it. And I'm like, the fuck I will abso-fucking-lutely not know. I'm trying to be romantic. This is not beautiful. It's all things messy. And he's like, just let me see it. And I was like, oh, I was so uncomfortable. And I was like, look at my bag, but please don't make eye contact with me for 20 minutes after. And he looks and he's like, yeah, he's like, I can't tell. He's like, you're right. He's like, it could be either or. And he's like, what do you feel? Like, do you want to call your mom? Like, do you want me to take you to the hospital? And he was so calm. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, oh my God, now two things.
It all up.
And it was in that moment because the same thing. I had never had somebody who was like, well, it's not a big deal. Or, I still love you and you're still magical, even though you shit in a bag, And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I think maybe we should wait and I'll drink some water. And if it doesn't get better, we'll go to the hospital. And he's like, all right, well, just let me know. And I was just like, I don't even know that I'm worried about that. Yeah. I was like, I have to move out of the country. I don't know what we're doing here. But it was in that moment that I was like, I will marry this man for 100% sure, But for that very same reason is that he does, like, he takes care of me. And you have to be, a boss bitch all day. And then you get home and you're like, oh, I love you so much. Please let me just crawl in your skin. But I can definitely hear that 67% of women very much were like you were in your first marriage, where you're just like, this isn't working.
Let me just clarify, because anybody who's listened to this, and I'm sure lots of my friends are like, this isn't our first marriage. Well, all my marriages.
I don't count
every
your
marriage
first
except for this one.
I don't count your first one.
Yeah, every marriage except for this one.
I barely count your second one, so there's that.
I mean, I count the second one.
Only because you have the girls.
Because the girls, yeah.
That's the only reason I'm counting it.
Well, also, it was like a decade of my life. It's hard not to.
Really, it's only the girls. That's the only reason I'm counting it.
It's fair. It's funny because because it's all about you. It's funny because I feel like Adolfo and I, like in the beginning of our relationship and our marriage, we were very in love and happy and it was great, right? But like, if we're talking about essentially since probably after my dad died and then we had the girls, it just kind of like.
That's interesting.
But yeah, I married him because I thought he was the one. It wasn't like, but I will tell you, there were flags, but like we talked about like orange flags, right? Not red flags, but like orange flags.
Maroon colored.
Yeah, no orange. Like enough that like if you squint, it could be yellow. Never green. But I had to have an endoscopy, and they had to sedate me.
Yeah.
And the night before my procedure, Adolfo and I, this is when we were just dating, Adolfo and I got in an argument. And we started, like, I was very much like worried he was going to leave me, the panicky attachment, whatever. And the next day, so like we didn't talk. And I was like, are you still going to take me to my procedure? Do I need to call my mom? And
do you also still love me?
Yeah, right. But I was like, he was like, I'm not giving you, because I was supposed to go somewhere. I don't remember where. And he's like, I'm not giving you a ride. Like, I'm not taking you. And I was like, you motherfucker. And so, but then the procedure was the next morning. And I was like, well, are you still going to take me to my procedure? Like, do I need to call my mom or something? And he was like, no, I'll take you. But we didn't talk the whole night. And we had to get up super fucking early next morning or whatever. And when I was coming out of my anesthesia, in full glory, I just kept begging him, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. And he was like, I'm not going anywhere. And I was like, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
And he was like, we can talk about that later. Like, it wasn't like, I'm here with you, here we
Right.
are. And now it's like all these little things. Now I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I should have been like, deuces, bye. Like, no.
I gotta go.
Yeah, but like,
Your orange became red.
yeah, but I just didn't even like, I literally just thought about that just now, that like experience. But it was just like, I felt like I just constantly low key, like it's like a low energy thing, but I'm just constantly exerting energy in order for him not to leave me.
Right.
As opposed to like just being and
Right.
you aren't going to leave me.
Yeah.
You know, it was like always maintaining
Yeah.
in order for you to not leave me.
Yeah.
And like, that is where I think that's where like the exhaustion comes
Right.
in, is where you're just always on.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. Like, I would be curious too if those 67% of women, if you went back and also asked, do you feel like you're always on? And are any of you also neurodivergent and you mask? I mean, mental health, you mask, period.
Right.
But I don't think people I didn't recognize in myself how much I mask all the time, until I'm like really looking at it. And it's funny because the only reason it really like even came to me the other day was Angelo made a comment. He was like, oh, you're really good at networking and talking to people. And I was like, it's literally one of my least favorite things to do. I love to educate. I'll educate all day. I don't mind doing conferences. I love that.
That's because you just talk. It's
Exactly.
Like, it's just a one-way conversation.
Yeah, and then I'm like, blah, 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 bit, I'm out, motherfucker. Done, you know. But then it's like the networking where I have to be like, hey, what do you do? What do I do? Oh, yeah, tell me your things. That part, I very much am not. I don't enjoy it. And I know part of what it is, too, is that I don't enjoy small conversations. I like very in-depth conversations,
Yeah.
which is also why I'm very picky about like the people I keep in my circle. Because if you're going to talk to me about service level shit, I'm like, I don't like that. I got to
don't have
go.
time
I don't
for
have
that.
time.
I
Like,
have
this
other
is
things I
boring.
gotta do.
Yeah, you want to talk some deep shit or some animal facts, I'm your bitch. But other than that, I got to
Literally
go.
just those two things.
Yeah, it's that, and I got to get the fuck out.
Intergenerational trauma.
Yeah, or animals.
Or animal.
And otherwise, fuck right off.
Yeah, and that's it. Or like how we're going to heal New Mexico. Those are the three things.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So those are either you're in that circle or you have to go home.
Yeah.
And I would be curious if they went back to that study and asked, like, how many of you feel like you're on all the time and that you don't ask for what you need, but why? Why do you not feel like you can? Do you choose not to? Whatever that may look like. Because I think that's a question we don't, as women, get asked a lot. Is like, why does it feel like that? Does it feel like because your partner would be, irresponsible? Does it feel like they would leave you and that's your, attachment stuff? I think there's more pieces to that study that I would be curious about.
Yeah.
And how much of it is masking. Because I think, because that's why I even told you, like, when we...
You even what?
When I told you. Like, all the words got, like, jumbled. They were like...
That's even when I told you.
Then when I told you the things. It's like the dyslexia. It's all... Just shit in your brain. It's what happens when you have the dyslexia. The
dyslexics.
The dyslexic.
Yeah.
But that's why I always say, like, when we do autism testing on our kiddos, see what you get for talking shit.
I told you it was going to do it.
That Stan was like, don't be mean to Rebecca, she's so nice.
No, the fuck, it wasn't.
But when we...
It was masking.
Yeah, it was masking.
And it gave up.
It was like, I can't fucking do this job anymore. I hate it. But when we test girls for different mental health disorders or autism or whatever, I always tell parents, like, you should probably retest them in a couple of years as their hormones change and as they change, but also as girls, you give them time to kind of fill themselves out and figure out a little bit of who they are, because those disorders or things that people are classifying as disorders may change, because girls tend to mask more than boys do. Way more than boys do. Not that boys don't. It's just girls, because girls are more inward and boys are more external, because that's just what's allowed.
Right.
It is what it is. But that's also what makes little boys very sick, too, because they're not allowed to speak it out. They have to act it out. And that usually gets them in trouble, which isn't good for them either. But I would be curious about the study and going back and being like, I have more questions, ladies.
Yeah, like that's cool, but also
I have some follow-ups, and I'd like to know.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, and I would be curious, too, if it was like a certain ethnicity. I'd be very curious about that as well. Like, I would be curious if it's like all Caucasian, all Hispanic. It's definitely.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what part of the world, I have lots of questions. And
Yeah,
I
no,
probably,
that's clear. Yeah.
I have lots of other things. I don't know.
Fellow.
Yeah, because like always, I'm bringing you half this fucking story. So, it was on the radio, so there's only so much I could get. There's only so much I can give you today. Also, I'm fucking tired, but I'm fine.
She said,
But I
"You're
think
fine."
I mean, I'm just, Also, though, I think you get to a point where you're just like, it's just, it's what it is right now to be
Yeah,
tired.
but it doesn't have to be.
I don't know anybody who's not tired. Really.
I had one day last week where I was like, this is the first day.
What day was that? Okay.
It was Monday.
Oh.
I was like, it was really recent. It was Monday. And I had like one little coffee in the morning. Well, I shouldn't say little. It was a venti Starbucks coffee, but it lasted me like 6 hours. So it's like I drank it over the course of like probably 5 hours, honestly, because that's like how long it takes me to drink my shit. So like it would be the equivalent of having
doing
like
that in your pills, like nothing else gets done.
right. It's either coffee or pills. You don't get both in one day.
You can't. That's too many hours.
Correct. It just takes me forever. But anyway, I woke up like feeling good. We went.
Yeah, I'm literally at my.
No, I heard it. It was really excellent.
Yeah,
we went to like brunch with my stepdaughter, and then Mike and I ran a couple errands. And we went home. We did some meal prep. We went to the food fight. Like it was like there was like a lot of things, plenty of things to do. I prepped whatever, and then I felt good. I didn't need like any caffeine or anything. All like Monday night, we had like a weird quirky night where like some weird like electrical things happened and like whatever, and like I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But then I was tired Tuesday because of the food fights, but I was like, damn it, I woke up tired. But I literally remember being like,
do you think part of it is the way you started the day was like you slowed down a little bit that first part?
Honestly, I think it's because I slept like all weekend.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds
so
great.
Like, yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I did. Yeah. It was really good. So, we didn't have kids Saturday. I think it was just Friday, Saturday or something like that. But, Saturday or no, Brooke worked. So we were like, so we had a Friday evening, we did something. And then Brooke worked on Saturday during the day. So we didn't have to like get up. So I took melatonin.
Oh,
yeah.
Those don't work for me. But
like, okay. Well, everything, again, I'm a lightweight and whatever. So I took 10 whole milligrams of melatonin. It knocked me the fuck out.
Wow.
Knocked me out. Wow. And that's why I don't take it very often. But like, if we have no kids and I can sleep in, Mike's like, see you in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So I woke up at like 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And I was like,
hello world.
Yeah. I was like, this is fucking great. And then when we don't have kids, which is very rare that we don't have kids and we don't have anywhere to be, we like to just like snuggle in bed. Yeah. And then we take a nap.
Oh.
So like we were up for like 40 minutes and I took another fucking hour and a half nap. It was great. And I was like, oh my God, it's almost 2 o'clock. We have to get up and go eat. So we went and ate. And it was good. Like I was like, yeah, this feels good. Yeah. And then Sunday was Father's Day. And then but I slept in like a little bit, and then Mike went, had his baseball game, so we went and did that. And then Brooke had to work Sunday evening, so it was just Mike and I, and it was just like relaxing. Like it was a lot of like, I almost like reset my nervous system where I didn't feel like I was in that fight or flight, like a survival mode. Yeah. Which is why you're like, there's nothing you can do. Yes, the fuck there is. You're just not doing it. You're literally living in survival mode. Because you are not doing the self-care things to reset your shit.
Sometimes I do.
Sometimes, but it's clear.
Yeah. Not right now.
No.
Summers are hard. Summers are just different.
Because you have a child in your house.
Because O's here more than he ever is. And I love having him here. And I would literally have him here all the time if I could. But it is a huge adjustment just because it isn't the day-to-day that we have, right? And then the summer comes and there's always more shit to do work-wise. And nonprofit-wise, and then all the things in the summer. So summers always kick my ass.
Yeah, but you don't do a constant self-care regimen.
No, fuck no. No,
right.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So like you're like, oh, and it just has to be like this. The fuck it does. It doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
have
and
to
it
be
shouldn't.
Like
and I know it can't last because it'll kill you. I mean, I lost a colon because there's the thing.
You did lose a whole colon.
Did lose the whole fucking thing. Colleen the colon, shitty bitch, gone. She was the worst. But sometimes I do though. But I haven't in a while.
That's what I mean.
I'll do it this weekend. Watch. I'll do it this weekend.
I don't want to watch.
You shouldn't, because it's going to be this the whole time.
Well, it was just like, it was definitely like the slow version of things. Like, it was like, we don't have to be anywhere. Right. We don't have to go anywhere. It was like, I think Friday night, we just like got pizza and like hung out in bed. Yeah. Like we don't get to do that very often, but when we do, we fucking relish in it. We get so excited. Yeah. Because it's either like any evening is either filled with children or work.
Right.
Like, that's it.
Right.
And then like our kids' schedules kind of flip. So like we don't have the girls overlapping super frequently, but we almost always have kids in the house.
Right.
And so the opportunity for us to be like, oh damn, we're just gonna like curl up in bed and fucking watch some like TV, like watch a movie or two and like eat pizza and like
do nothing else.
Yeah, like literally veg out is like really good for like us, for our souls. And sometimes we don't even talk. Like we're just like,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Like, you're hot, but just
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Because we don't do like regular self-care routines because of our day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
But we do intentionally, like we've talked about, when we travel or like when we even go away for a night or two, all we do is like nothing. We like have to plan the nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been better about slowing down the mornings. Because I think I got like, I don't know, I probably watched it on Instagram or some bullshit where they were like, get out of bed and just ram it right up your ass all day. And I was like, okay, you know, and that doesn't work well for, I don't know who the fuck it works well, maybe somebody. So I was like, I don't actually think that this works well for me. So could you slowly insert it? And so I get up now and my husband has made like this very nice, and actually I got a hammock. And it's my favorite thing on the planet. And he made this nice little area in our garden because we have this big tree that like scooches over the fence. And it's like perfect because it's like the perfect shady spot. And so I've been trying to do where like I go out there in the morning and I just sit there and I just drink my coffee and the cat comes out. And sometimes O will come out and we practice mindfulness where we're just listening to things and just observing before we go for our little walk in the morning that O and I do. And that's been helping. And I think that's... because I am up early, but I don't enjoy early mornings. That's what you do. And I got things to do. I'm like a midday pigeon. Like find me midday and I'm your girl. Not late, not early, like a midday pigeon.
Well, when you walked in here at 1:30 today, which is midday, you were like,
yeah, well, it's because I've had a lot of human contact in 2 days. And that wears me out. And that wears me out too. Humans...
yeah.
You know, I'm just, well, and people like to tell me all their stories, you know. And some people don't do it as much. I did have somebody today that I met with, and she was very cup filling. But for the most part, networking is what I've been doing a lot, and it's a lot.
It's sleepy.
It's very fucking right out there.
When I was young, I used to get really upset with my parents because they didn't want to go out and do stuff with us. Like when I was young, like 10, 15 years ago. Okay, so still like adult, but like young adult.
So when you're in your 40s?
Right. Yeah. Fucking bitch. And I had more energy and I didn't really understand the conservation of energy.
Yeah.
Because in your 20s, mid 20s, even late 20s for me, I still had lots of energy. I'd get off a 12-hour shift, like from the fucking hospital, saving lives all day and be like, let's go have dinner. Let's go get drinks. You know what I mean? And now I'm like, that sounds like hell.
Yeah. You're like, that's the worst idea ever.
That's fucking terrible.
That's why I told you I'm brunch.
Yeah. Well, that's are you?
That's it. That's
but like, I used to be like, hey dad, do you want to come like have dinner with us or let's go have dessert or something? And like once in a while they'd be like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like I used to get so excited when they would say like, when my dad would say yes. My mom is, she's like good for 2 hours. Like if I'm like, Mom, come over for dinner for Mother's Day, whatever, like Mike and I make the joke. And her and my dad have always been like this, but her and my uncle are like this.
That's so funny.
They come over, they eat and they leave.
They're like, I gotta go.
Yeah. So I'm like, I make you guys hang out with me before we eat. Yeah. I'm like, be here at 6, dinner's at 7.
And you're like, we're gonna spend some time.
You're gonna fucking quality time it up with me.
It's so funny. My mom's gonna laugh when she hears this, but when I was a kid, we went to go see The Little Mermaid, the original one, not this fucking new bullshit we're doing.
Well, because
Disney.
Because you were born 300 years ago.
Oh, fucking 400, literally Galapagos turtle, baby, to the fucking core. I'm gonna like fucking be 1,000 years old at this point. Ugh. Anyways, I did fight in the Civil War, for sure. But we had gone to see The Little Mermaid, and my mom fell asleep snoring in the fucking theater, and I was so mad, and also I was like tense. I was like, how dare you? Yeah. So I like moved seats to get away from her, and like I literally was so angry at her. And every time we go to the movies, I'm like, you have to stay the fuck awake. And I laugh so hard because I'm like, oh, I can literally see why she would have just snuggled in and been like,
this
out.
is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, well,
and I laugh now because I'm like, oh, okay, that makes way more sense now.
Way more sense.
Yeah. But, you know, and I think it makes sense too, like when you talk about people, like he's saying, like people that are mentally exhausted. So when they say I'm tired, like checking in on like what exactly does that mean? Because it would mean something different for everybody, right? And when you are mentally exhausted, that is very different than like I physically, because it's like you physically feel it, but also there's like this piece of your brain that's like, I actually can't take any more of this bullshit, or I'm going to lose my mind, or, you know, take it to the extreme. And so I think it is like valuable when people are like, "Oh, I'm tired," and it's like, "Well, what kind of tired?"
Kind of tired?
Yeah, because how rare? I mean, how rare is it that you ask that? Because usually you don't. You're just like, "Oh yeah, I hear you.
You're
Me
like,
too."
same.
Yeah, and you're like, "I'm fucking tired too." And I think that's what's hard too, is it just the world we're in right now? Everybody's fucking tired, so it's hard to be like, also tell me about yours, and I can move mine over to hear that. That's hard. That's not easy. You know? It's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. Well, that's where the self-care comes in.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
2 of those.
I definitely, Taylor and Travis were I guess they were talking to each other about me. And then, yeah, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And
Like the lady the other day. I like you.
Yeah. I know. I was like, but fuck her.
Yeah.
I
Bag
don't
of
like
dicks
her.
on this one.
Like, I like you already. I'm like, you're just part of it. You're part of the,
They're like, I guess
the
you can
bag of
come.
tricks.
Yeah.
So Taylor's like, yeah, Travis said, I want to know what Kat is doing with her. Like, what is she taking? I want to be on her regimen because she always has energy and she's always on the go and she does so much. And I was listening to Taylor and I was like, that's so cute. Scoot over so I can take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. Shh.
Yeah, I was like, that's really sweet of you guys.
Yeah, but if I stop moving.
Yeah, I was like, it's just
It's like
called
I have
being a
narcolepsy.
mom and in survival mode.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. That's what everyone's like, oh, you have all this energy. And it's like, if you ask me to stop, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no.
that's like if I'm going to lay down, that's it. That's why at 6:30, I'm done. In bed. Getting ready to read my 97 books and then out with my murder mystery on.
So good.
Did I tell you that my grandmother, her reaction? So she asked me the other day what I fall asleep to. And I was like, murder. And she like looks at me and like, I'm kidding. And I'm like, yeah, I listen to like anything murder. Dateline, Law and Order SVU, whatever it is, just murder. And she literally used my full name. She's like, Rebecca Michelle. And I was like, oh.
You're like,
Oh, Granny did not think that was funny. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. It's very predictable, so it's easy to fall asleep to. Like, here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to fucking die. It's probably the fucking husband or the wife. And that's it. And that's easy to fall asleep to.
and you don't think that rom-coms are predictable?
No, that's gross. Those are boring. And
But
that-
they are predictable.
yeah, not in a good way, though.
Murder.
Yeah, rom-coms are just like, bleh.
No, you
Like,
just
nobody-
can we just go back for a second where you were like not in a good way,
Yeah.
referring that like
Murder is in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way of predictability. Like, you know, like A to B. Rom-com, it's going to be like A to B, but with like a bunch of like fucking sappy shit in the fucking middle.
Wow.
That no one does. Like, no one talks like that. No one acts like that. Like, none of that shit happens.
Some people do.
Okay.
Mike does.
Not like that. Your husband is not a... I'm going to fucking literally just tell him you said that, and he's
Yeah.
going to be mad.
No, he won't. He'll be like, okay. It's so funny.
Maybe, though, in private, but, like, not if he was being filmed.
Well, I mean, you heard his vows.
Yeah, those were nice. Yeah. Yeah, but that's different than your fucking wedding. Not a fucking rom-com.
And he was being recorded.
Rom-coms are the worst, dude. Those are the worst.
I love rom-coms. They make me
Oh.
so happy.
Oh.
And my husband loves me, and so he is like, whatever you want, babe. It's your time. It's your turn to pick. And I'm like, fuck yeah! We're gonna watch the corniest shit we can find. And like I'm like this, like, and he's like looking for booze.
Yeah, he's like, anything has to make this better.
It's so bad. I need to be really drunk for this.
Yeah,
And I'm
hate-
like,
I don't
I'm drunk on love.
That's how I feel about murder. I'm like, yay! Yeah, well, there's a dark part of me.
Just that one.
Just that piece.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I'll tell you the story.
Oh my God,
Speaking
your
of
cup
dark.
says proudly pro nap.
Yeah, because I am proudly. My mom gave me this because I nap now. Because I didn't used to nap, and now I nap. I'm a napper.
That is so funny. I had a girlfriend.
And it's on my sloth cup, which makes it even funnier.
Yeah, no, I understand. Also, I read this as I'm trying to bang.
Or hang.
Yeah, but I read it as I'm trying to bang in there.
But it's early. I mean,
But
same.
it's,
I mean, it's right either way. So, I mean, it's right no matter how you read it.
that's fucking great.
Especially if it's a sloth.
Yeah.
Because trying to bang in there as a sloth, I feel is like, real slow. Yeah, you're all welcome for that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I hope that is the snippet.
It will be now, or else he's gonna be like,
Because I'm like
oh yes, that is exactly
I'm
what
moving my
sloth
face
love.
slow with you, like
Because that's what sloth sex would look like.
fucking hate it here.
That's why we don't have friends.
Yeah, this is it.
That's it.
That's
Surprised
it.
I'm even married.
Yeah.
Fucking
Also same.
shocking. You know, he
Yeah.
gets a fucking tax write-off.
At this point, I don't know if Mike, like, which one of us gets the tax write-off. Is it me?
No, for sure him.
Oh.
Yeah, I should be getting one for our friendship too. I should ask.
Okay.
I should ask Molly about that. No, I won't.
No, you
scares
don't
me.
even
No,
like her.
she scares
You
me. I like
she's
her.
scary.
She scares me,
I
though.
love her.
Yeah, you would, because you're a masochist.
Okay.
Fucking asshole. Anyways, let me tell you this funny story. So, talking about murder, how I like murder. One time, my husband, he was gonna take some mushrooms, and he was gonna, find himself or do whatever he does, because he likes to do the mushrooms and like find his soul. And he's like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go dark, and I like lost my shit, and I was like, oh my god, you can't! Oh my god, this is a terrible idea. And he's like, that is a really big reaction, right? And then all of a sudden, he's like, hold on, what is your dark? And I was like, oh, like human trafficking, murder, like, pedophilia, da 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 da. And he's like, wow. He's like, oh, okay. Our darks are very different. He was like, my dark is just like going deep into my soul. And I was like,
So there's no pedophilia in there.
yeah, I was like, so not murder. Okay, this is why I can't tell people things.
Also,
And
why
he
you
was-
shouldn't do mushrooms.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, that's very
Yeah,
different.
well, you do you, boo.
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
was like,
here.
oh, okay, well, have fun, and just let me know when you're done, and I'll come back in here. So I was like, oh, yeah, your dark and my dark are very different. So obviously, my murder, it makes me sleepy. I mean, it's instantly like I can literally like, and he's like, and she was run over, out. I don't know. There's probably something broken in here. They should study this when I die.
Well, lots of people seek out like murder mystery, like
Yeah.
or murders.
There's a predictability to it. I've actually read studies that they've
Is that what
talked
it
about
is?
it. The people who are anxious also they like to watch like the same movie over and over because you know
Well,
exactly.
that's autism too.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen. There's a predictability to it. And there are lots of people who they've done studies on who are very similar in that they like murder mysteries for the same fucking reason because I mean you do. Like you're not plugging in Dateline and like, oh, they found her and she wasn't dead. What is that? Maybe that's a documentary called They Found Her and She Wasn't Dead. But it sure as fuck isn't called Dateline because there's never.
And she wasn't dead.
Yeah, that's definitely not what Dateline is. Like, I've never been like, Google Dateline, and they found her. And it's like, no. Yeah, in a ditch, but not alive. So there's a predictability to it that, like, there's like an ease to it
Interesting.
because you know what's going to happen. It's not, rarely are you like, what?
Yeah.
But I mean, somebody's going to die. And not that I think people should die. Most people. But yeah, I think definitely you should, I don't know. It's just, there's like a relaxing to it.
I don't think it's relaxing.
I don't think rom-coms are relaxed. I think
Relaxing
they're terrible.
is
They
great.
make me very uncomfortable. I'm just like, God.
So we were watching this like suspenseful movie Sunday night,
Yeah.
and I watched it like this.
Really?
Oh, I can't.
What
I-
movie? Oh, you're the worst.
The end of the world. The world is ending or something. It's got fucking Julia Roberts in it.
Oh, yeah, with the guy, they're in his house.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good movie.
What? The ending made me very angry.
What? Don't spiel it. Don't
Spiel it. I won't spiel it.
Don't spiel
anyway,
it.
The ending pissed us both off.
It was rough. It wasn't like what you expect
No,
at all.
I think they were just like, well, we're done. So
Yeah,
this
we're
is how
running out of money.
Yeah, this is how
We got
we're
some
ending
big
it.
names in this motherfucker.
Yep.
Can't get all the way to the end.
No, they're like,
Interesting.
well, this is it.
So you don't watch like The Last of Us?
No. I only watch rom com.
That is interesting.
No, I can't do suspense. It makes me very, very anxious.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
don't like them.
Sometimes I can. I mean, it kind of depends. Like, there's some shows that I'll watch where I'm like, I got to take a break from this. Like, I'm watching one right now on Netflix, Animal Kingdom. Animal something. I think it's Animal Kingdom. And they get into a lot of fuckery, and I have to take little breaks because it's like, you guys are going to, I can't. Like, you're stressing me out a little bit, and then I'll go back to it. But there's some other ones that I'm like, That one didn't stress me out
Yeah,
for whatever
it was
reason.
a really long movie. I was like, why is this? 2
Yeah, it
hours
is
and
very
30
long. They
minutes?
did drag that the fuck right out.
Yeah, I'm like, it didn't have to be that long.
No.
And the way it ended, I was like,
No.
I don't think it has to exist. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, and I kind of feel that way about horror movies. I don't do horror movies like I used to. We used to watch them for Christmas for a while, and then yeah, we got away from that. But yeah, I don't
That's
do that
special.
anymore. Yeah, ho ho ho, bitches. But I'll do some murder for sure, but not rom coms. What's the last one you watched? What's the last rom com?
Gosh, I don't even remember. We watched one just recently.
Clearly, it was really good.
Yeah. I'm like, the
Like
one.
how they all are.
Whatever. I can't even remember the name.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just get excited
Sloths
that my
having sex.
Yeah. Well, I just get excited that my husband wants to watch rom-coms
I
with
know,
me.
it's nice.
So I'm just like I'm just like, we could watch the same fucking movie over and over again. And I'm like, this is the best.
That's so funny. All right.
I also do a thing where like he'll be like, I have to pee, and we'll like pause it, and then he comes back to bed, and I'm like, okay, so like, blah, 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 and like 40 minutes goes by. Netflix is like, are you still there? And I'm like, are you gonna be okay?
You're like, can you leave
I'm
me
paying,
alone?
You get paid regardless.
Right. Back off my nuts.
Yeah. Like you're ruining my date night.
Yeah, I'm having a moment here.
Yeah.
Dick.
It's like, it's been 45 minutes.
Yeah, you're like, what happened to Netflix and chill?
Yeah.
Fucking chill.
I feel very chill.
Yeah, Netflix. Dicks.
What do you do for like when you
Crack
do
cocaine. Just kidding. Go ahead. So great.
What do you do when you are like bone tired? Like, can you remember a time in your life when you were like so tired that you were
Right
like,
now.
No, this is not, because you still have a dude filling your cup.
Oh, when was the last time?
No.
Yes, he does. Thank you.
Wow, that was convincing. Thanks.
Sorry, I went back to being like focusing. My ADHD was like ting. The last time I was like bone tired. Oh, probably when I worked for the feds. That probably, because that sucked the fucking life. I mean, out. And part of it is that that was my dream job. I had worked really fucking hard to get there, and very quickly I realized I had made a mistake, and that I was not the type of girl they were looking for. They wanted somebody who literally looks like this, but is the exact opposite, and like doesn't speak or move or do anything. I also should have been married and not had an opinion. So that probably, because there was a time where I would like vomit every day before work in the parking lot. So that's probably, and it was right when I was getting sick. That was right. Like that was probably the catalyst that just shot everything off. And then from there, I went to work for Child Protective Services to work in investigations on child abuse, and that shoved it. And then from there, I went and worked at the kid prison. So yeah, that was a real rough time. So probably in that window of time was probably where I was the most just like miserable to the core of my being. Where if you would have asked me, I would have said I was tired, but I also was just like, there was even a time when I worked at the feds where I thought about dying. Like I thought about stepping in front of a bus. And that's when I knew, like, I got to get the fuck out of here. That's not okay. And really I was like, oh my God, the damage that would do to like the people on the bus and the mess it would create and my family. And that's when I knew, I was like, this is not where you need to be in life. Like you got to get the fuck out of here. So I would say that probably was the last time I really felt just absolutely. And then, like I said, right after that, when I worked at the kid prison, I was so sick. I was sick the entire 2 years I was there. Mm-hmm. And it was after I worked there that I met my husband. So that 4 years probably, it was probably about a good 4 or 5 year period where I just was like fucking the most miserable I've ever been in my life. And everything hurt. Mm-hmm. And that's like the only way I could describe it is like everything hurt. My brain hurt, my body hurt, my soul, everything. It was the worst. It was a real dark time. And I didn't tell anybody. You know, it was one of those things where I just was like, you just, just chug along.
It's going to get better. It's going
to be fine.
Yeah.
And I tried, like, even when I was with the feds, like, I tried really hard. I went to HR, and she told me just to scream in my car before work. And I was like, that's super helpful, Lisa. Cough. And that's for you. Yeah. So I remember that vividly. And I was like, oh, I'm so fucked. And after that, I was just like, all right, you just eat it. And then I almost died. And then I did die. So I guess it came around full circle. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
Probably when my dad was dying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because that like whole year was really fucked up for me. Like, it's funny because I remember things vividly, like it was like yesterday. And then there's like whole time frames where I'm like
chunks
was
missing.
that in the same year?
Right. Yeah.
Like, don't worry, guys. I am smart, but I don't fucking remember like half of my nurse practitioner program.
Yeah.
Because my dad.
Well, the trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, my dad got diagnosed. So I was a travel nurse and I was in nurse practitioner school for the whole like first year. You just do like a bunch of didactic stuff. And then I got accepted. I was like 2 or 3 months into my nurse practitioner program when my dad got diagnosed. And it was like November 6th of 2017. And I had just started at that hospital 6 weeks prior. And he got diagnosed in my ER that I was working at. And they called me. And I was already married at the time. And he called me. My dad called me when he was at the hospital. And I had just left my pediatric advanced life support class, and I was stoked. Like I like continuing education, and so I just was like renewing my PALS or whatever. And he called me, and he's like, "They think I have bladder cancer." And I was on Paseo, and it was like 5:00 rush hour. And the next thing I remember, I'm like in my garage at my house. I fucking bloop, don't remember shit after that. They told me I have bladder cancer. And then it was like, now I'm in my garage. And it was like not a close drive.
Right.
And then I remember being like, my dad is going to die. Like, I just like knew it. And my husband at the time was like, I was like reading about bladder cancer and stage 4 and all this stuff. And then I like went upstairs to do schoolwork, and we were in the urology rotation, and it was like about bladder cancer. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It was wild. And then, he got really sick really fucking quick. And like everything took a turn. Like we got pregnant. I had a miscarriage. Couldn't get pregnant again. My dad died, my aunt. So like my dad died like a really pretty horrific death. And then 90 days later, my aunt died in the same hospital that my dad was diagnosed in, and died in, and like from cancer. And I had to like do the exact same thing that I did with my dad 90 days later with my aunt. And I was like, I was so nothing. There was nothing there.
Yeah.
So probably like the rest. And then of course she died on Halloween. So then we had like the first Thanksgiving, the first Christmas, the first New Year's, like boom, 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 boom. And it was like, that was like a really exhausting time.
Yeah.
And then right as I was like maybe kind of coming out a little bit, I got pregnant with Alana, and it threw me into a tailspin. Like my entire first trimester, every time I sneezed, I thought I was having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And I was in my clinical rotation in an OB clinic.
Fuck.
And I was like, and no one knew I was pregnant.
Oh, shit.
So it's morning sickness, like fuck, and anxious as shit, and like couldn't communicate it to anybody. Didn't even tell my best friend. I didn't even tell Arian that I was pregnant for almost up till like the end of my first trimester.
Jeez.
And I was like, I had pushed her away, like wasn't talking to her. Like I was like, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like what's going on? And I was like,
a secret, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, I was like
I'm
picking
scared.
like weird little fights with her. Like I was like not in like my right mind at all. And I just sent her like a picture of like the pregnancy test. And I was like, this. And she was like, okay, well that's exciting, but you're being a dick.
Yeah,
and she's
that's
like,
great.
You don't get a pass because you're being a dick. And I'm like, that's the kind of friend you need. But it was just weird. I don't even remember, like it was like that whole thing. And then your first trimester, you're just so exhausted. And it's like, you're tired during your pregnancy. And then I had a fucking baby and then we got pregnant again. I was tired for years.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think from the time that my dad died until I left my ex-husband.
Yeah.
So we're talking like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, 2017 to end of 22.
Yeah.
So for 4 years.
Yeah.
Like just like, I can't.
Yeah.
And then I had to like come out of survival mode and heal, like while I'm trying to like make this new relationship work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah. It's
like
tough. It's rough. Yeah. Well, and that's why I was saying, like, it probably would behoove us to be better about asking people what their tired really looks like, you know? And because I get it, like I said, we're all tired, so we just kind of skirt over it or just assume, yeah, your tired is my tired, and we just kind of go about it. And it's like, oof, that could be very different.
Yeah.
You know, because that tired where I then and now is very different. Like I'm tired now, but it's just because we're doing all kinds of things. Where I was with that was like death tired, where I was just like, this sucks. I hate everything about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't have like really have like any joy.
Yeah.
And I told my cousin because his dad died when he was like 17 from cancer. And then his mom died.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like she was my aunt, the one that died right after my dad. But after my dad died, I told him, I went to him and I was like, dude, I'm really sorry that like I never like even came to you. Because I had no fucking clue what he was going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you haven't lost a parent,
Yeah.
then you don't, like, especially young, then you have no fucking clue.
Yeah. Yeah. What that looks like. Yeah. Yeah. That's sad. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're better now.
Me too. Yeah. But it's like, I was just like, when I was asking you, I was like, God, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I just was like,
Yeah. Well, and that's why,
just
like, even when I
defeated.
think about it, like, there are parts too where I'm like, I don't really remember chunks of that. You know, like, there's parts of that time period that I'm like, I know that happened and I know this happened, but sometimes it's like hard to like picture all of the pieces because you're just like, you're just trying to get through it, you know? And because it was so dark, it was just like, yeah, you know, it's just gross. Yeah, it's really gross. And I think sometimes too, now that like we're saying it, I'm like, I guess there's probably some people I could be better about checking on, like thinking about it like that. I'm like, I probably should check back in on some things. Yeah, just makes you think about it. Get our shit together is a fucking moral of the story. And self-care
and self-care.
sometime this year. You ready for your animal fact?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we're doing octopi again because I'm reading a book about them. Shocker. And even though we did octopi, and I refuse to call them octopuses, okay? Everybody can just suck that right out your ass. It's octopi, okay? It's platypi. It's all the things. Fucking perverty scientists. So, did you know they have 3 hearts? Yeah, I know. Isn't that so? 3 hearts, and they just love so hard. They're actually very intelligent. So
I did know that.
okay, good. So in zoos, they have found that they get very bored. So they have to like create these activities for them to do because if they get bored, they'll try to escape. And they can't always like figure out how to like get to somewhere that still can keep them alive. But they're very crafty and they can like fold themselves very tiny little shapes. And so if they get somewhere small and you can't find them, they could die. But they are very, very crafty. So they will like come up with all these little boxes that they have to try to figure out how to like get into to get the crab. And some like one of the, I think it was in Seattle in their aquarium, the octopus couldn't figure out how to get it open, but he figured out how to get himself into the box. And so he was just in the box eating the crab. And he was like, well, I'm fucking in here. So here we go.
They know where I am.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, I'm in the little box, you know, just doing its thing. And they, yeah,
you.
and
They're
they're
like, fuck it, I'm in here.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in here. It's what we're gonna do. So their brain has like 80 to 100, depending on the type of octopus, lobes. Where we have 4, they have 80 to 100, which is like fascinating. And they're little, so they're suckers. They're little
Suction cups.
yeah, they're little tick. They can taste everything with them. So they like when they like sucker onto you, if you're taking medication or anything, like you're a smoker, they'll like pull back really hard because their little receptors are very, very sensitive. And when you feed them, their little suckers, they can fold just like our fingers can. So they'll like move the fish like this, like all the way up their little suckers so that they can slowly taste it before they stick it in what they call their beak. And their beak would be technically like where our armpit or our parts are. So they like stick it in there and then they can eat it. Yeah, and their brain like goes around like their throat, like it goes down around like what would be like what we would consider our throat. It's opposite for them. And they make like thousands and thousands and thousands of little eggs. But if there's not a boy octopus who has been around way before they even make the eggs, there's no sperm. So they'll just make like these little nests of eggs that will never procreate. And when an octopus is making eggs, she's at the end of her life. So once she starts making eggs, like that's it. And when they're really calm, they tend to be like as white as I am. And when they're all riled up and ready to fight, they're like red or like real dark brown. And then they'll make like little bumps all over so they look more intense. Yeah. And boy octopi, on their penis arm, they have like there's no suckers down here, and that's how you know they're a boy because that's their. Yeah, so they don't need suckers there. That'd be weird. Oof, that's gross. But yeah, so that's how you know they're a boy versus a girl because they don't have any little suckers
On their penis arm.
on their penis arm that some throw at the ladies to get the ladies. Yeah. And if you cut off one of their arms, one of their tentacles, it can stay alive and still function and still grab hold of things and doesn't seem to realize that it's not connected to anything for like days. Yeah. They're like fascinating and they're so sweet and they're so smart. And now I want to meet an octopus. That is my goal now. And I want them to be, because I think it'd be so fun. So yeah, so now you know all the things about the octopi. Fucking perverts.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Now you know.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And that was exciting.
Yeah, you know, I try. I try to bring them all. Who knows what I'll bring next week? I already know.
It's me, I know.
It's me.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I know.
This bitch.
I know.
'Cause it's me. It's my tism. So, yeah. You're welcome.
I feel good about that. That was a lot about octopus.
I know. Yeah, well, I've been reading a book. So, octopi, don't get gross. Don't be weird. The scientist. And they vary in size. Obviously, they can get really big, and then some of them are really small. And there are people who have them in their homes. But you have to be very, very, very educated on what you're doing with them in your home. Because, like I said, they get bored, and they're escape artists. And you have to be careful what you put them in with, because they'll eat and they'll attack just for fun. Like there was one aquarium that talked about how there was an octopus in one tank, and then they come back the next day and all the sharks are dead. They're not mutilated, they're not eaten, they're just dead. And then the octopus is back in his little tank just chilling. Yeah, he was like the mafia. He's like, fuck that guy. And then he got back in and no one saw it happen. They just came in and all the sharks were gone, just dead. Yeah.
How do they kill people?
Their beaks, and they have venom. So some octopi, like they can, if they bite you and they get a hold of you enough, they'll like put their venom in you and it can eat your skin. So you have to be very careful. So they're beaks, and if they got like a sucker, like on your eyeball, they could suck your eyeball right out of your face. So just FYI, if you see one, don't let it right there. I know. See, I know all the things now. Oh, you're welcome. Oh.
That's a lot of info.
Well, you know, I wrote a book, and now I'm just going to like word vomit it on everybody. So
Here we are.
There we are, everyone, with your octopi facts. But if anyone knows an octopi that will let me sit with it and let it hang out with me. Not my eyes, though.
Not your eyes.
Not
Got
my
it.
eyes. That's where I draw the line. I need both of
That.
these. Yeah. I'm not going to be a hooker. Paying extra for that. Okay. I have to write down I still have to write down our goodbye because I can't remember it.
Well, nobody can read that, so.
No, it's just me. That's why I do it this way. So it can only be me. She can't replace me. Can't break up with
God
me.
forbid I just memorize it.
I just suck a dick. This bitch. All right. May your healing journey irritate the fuck out of all the people it should. Petty-luya. Yeah. Get it.
Get it.
Yeah. Bye, bitches. That's really